What if I told you that even with the safest house, with all the latest home safety features, you're still at risk for falls? That's exactly what we learned after we had implemented every single home safety precaution to help my in-laws stay in their home and age safely. They were still falling. And it wasn't until my husband exercised the medical power of attorney and began directing their care that we truly understood just how detrimental something as simple as not drinking enough water can increase your fall risk. And to put it simply, as my father-in-law said after he got out of the hospital after he fell because he was dehydrated, I had no idea just how life-saving water was. If you're new here, hi, I'm Vicki. Let's talk about 5 common health issues that are often overlooked or misunderstood that are increasing your risk of falling in your home or outside of your home. I'm going to share with you how these 5 things negatively impacted my in-laws and give you tips so that you can try to prevent what happened to them from happening to you. And the disclaimer is, I'm not providing medical advice. I am just sharing what we have learned after becoming caregivers to my in-laws to help you have better conversations with your or your loved one's doctor if you happen to see any of the things that I'm going to share with you in yourself or them. Health issue number 1, they stopped moving. My in-laws have always been very active. They belong to gyms. They used to go to Tai Chi, but over time they stopped going and they started just sitting on the couch and watching TV. And when we asked them why they stopped going, my mother-in-law said it was because she no longer liked the class and that the instructor was mean. And what we later found out was his being mean was him noticing some issues with her mobility and gently trying to push her to go see a doctor. And that ain't within her wheelhouse. There's nothing ever wrong with her. Everything is fine. So because someone saw her as not being perfect, then she just stopped going. Consequently, because she stopped going, then my father-in-law stopped going because they have to do everything as a couple. So sitting on the couch and not moving really started to decrease their mobility because they're starting to lose muscle. They're starting to lose balance and dexterity. So after we got Mill diagnosed, we found out that she had white matter disease. Some of the symptoms of white matter disease are poor mobility, stiff gait, stiff joints and ankles. Those are types of things that will make you not want to go to the gym, not work out, and make you want to sit on the couch. But we didn't know then what we know now. Also with people who have neurological diseases such as white matter disease or some dementias and even Alzheimer's, they can't see themselves the way the rest of us see them. And it's a very, very long word, and I'm probably going to botch it, but I'm going to put it up on the screen so that you can actually see how it's spelled. But it's called anosognosia. And anosognosia is when you can't see that there is something wrong with you. It's not that you're in denial. It's not that you're lying, but there is an actual medical condition that you just cannot recognize that you have issues. And that is one of the things that we have come to learn with Mill is that she actually has this as well. So when someone says you need to go see a doctor or you're not walking right or you don't look right, she immediately quits back to, no, I'm perfect, I'm fine. And then she just cuts that person off and her brain tells her, that's okay, you don't need them, just sit on the couch. So when you don't move and you don't keep those muscles moving and you don't keep that muscle mass going and you don't work on your balance and your mobility, you're prone to fall. So don't just stop moving. As long as you can physically and mentally keep going, you want to keep going. And should something happen where you stand up and you just fall, or it hurts more than it used to be, or you can't walk heel toe anymore, you want to go see a doctor and determine whether or not you have one of these neurological issues or a muscular issue or a skeletal issue, and try to really figure out what's going on. Don't just sit on the couch and languish. And so one of the things that we're doing with Mill to help her with her physical mobility is we actually brought the gym to her. She won't go to a gym. She won't even go to physical therapy. And also we found that with physical therapy, they won't let us in the back with her. Well, I'm sorry, but you can't take someone who has one of these types of conditions, go work them out, and then send them back out in the world and think they're going to come home and be able to do those exercises the way they're supposed to when they're supposed to. So we actually have a physical therapist that comes to the house twice a week. She won't get any better. But the physical therapy that she's getting is helping us to just at least keep her moving so that she's not just sitting on the couch, because she will fight us tooth and nail. She is not going to exercise with us, but she will not fight and push back against her physical therapist. Health issue number 2, all they ate was junk food. So one of the things that we noticed when we visited, they always had 5, 6, 7, sometimes even 10 different kinds of cookies. The freezer had more ice cream than food, but we didn't think anything of it then. We just thought, they're old, they're retired, let them eat what the heck they want. We're not even going to care. But once we got, like I said, Mill diagnosed with white matter disease, and then there was a sneaking suspicion that Phil had Parkinson's and Parkinson's dementia, but we couldn't get that validated before we lost him. The neurologist helped us see that with people with these types of issues, dementia, Alzheimer's, memory loss, arthritis, all these things, they tend to gravitate towards things that are easy. Something that they can eat with their hands, because standing over a stove and cooking, using utensils to cut up and eat your food, all that gets really, really hard for them. And so they resort to the easy. And so that's why finger foods, childlike foods become their go-to meals of choice. And we also noticed there were a lot of frozen meals in there, like lean cuisines and Marie Callender dishes. And that's because Phil didn't cook. And they were from that generation where he sat and waited for food to be delivered and Mill actually cooked it. So as it got harder and harder for her to prepare things, the things that she prepared got easier and easier and easier. And since Phil didn't have arthritis, he could eat the lean cuisines. She really couldn't. So that's where the cookies and the muffins and things that she could pick up with her hands really came into play. But when you don't have the proper nutrition, you're also setting yourself up for fall risk, because you're not building healthy, strong bones. You're not maintaining your muscle mass because you're losing muscle. And you want to make sure that you are eating the entire rainbow. You want to make sure you're getting your calcium-rich foods. You want to make sure that you are getting all of your green leafy vegetables, because contrary to what Mill believes, health doesn't come in a bottle. You're going to get your best nutrients from eating a well-rounded, balanced diet. And we bought this refrigerator magnet to show Mill all of the ways in which her food can give her the nutrition that she needs. Because when we took over, I want to say there was probably 2 or 3 pantry shelves full of supplements, cinnamon bark, every vitamin from A to Z, stuff that we'd never heard of, because that's how you get your supplements. But we didn't realize that's how she's getting her supplements, because she couldn't make the food. And then when the caregivers came in and we were having Meals on Wheels delivered and we'd start to bring stuff, she would argue with us she didn't eat that food. She could just take her supplements and that she would be fine. And with memory loss, we're having to remind her, no, you can't go back to your old ways. You got to eat the salad, or you've got to eat the fish, or you got to eat the yogurt. We don't need to take 5,000 pills. We can get the food where we've got, things now where it doesn't bother her dexterity. We've got special weighted utensils so that she can eat things, and it's not all with her fingers, but when she wants to eat with her fingers, we don't argue, because we're not in her position. Just because we can use a knife and fork, we got to understand that even though I gave her weighted knives and forks, they may still be hard for her. So we got to make it so that she can get the nutrition that she needs in the way that she can get it in. So make sure you are watching your nutrition. And if things start to feel off, you don't feel like eating or something, go to a doctor, go see if they've got something else going on. If you're following along with me and you like what you're hearing, give this video a thumbs up, share it with someone else who might need to hear it. And If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so now. It tells the YouTube algorithm that you found value in this so much that you've actually subscribed and joined the movement to age on your terms. Health issue number 3, they stopped drinking water. And in this video where I talk about how what happened to Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy almost happened to my in-laws, that's the reason. We often dismiss the simple things. Drink water, stay hydrated. And what happened with my in-laws as they started to get older and started to have their dexterity and mobility issues, kept it to themselves, didn't say anything, and they figured out how they were going to navigate this. And they were going to navigate this by, if I have a hard time getting on and off my furniture, and I have a hard time getting on and off the toilet, then I'm not going to drink water so I don't have to go to the bathroom. So when you get dehydrated, your body loses its equilibrium. You get out of balance. You are prone to dizziness and imbalance and falling. And it really is just that simple to drink water. But when you get really dehydrated, water's not going to bring you back. You got to now start having electrolytes and things to bring you back. So staying hydrated is your best bet, because getting rehydrated, it's no fun. When Phil fell and went into the hospital, it took 6 IVs to finally get him hydrated. That's how bad it was. By the first time he went to the bathroom, after that, it came out the color of black coffee. That's how dehydrated he really was. But that's what dementia will do to you. Dementia type and memory loss and other neurological diseases, they will trick you into thinking that what you're doing is really good for you, but really what you're doing is really, really bad. So make sure you stay hydrated. Take a water bottle with you wherever you go. If you forget, shell out the money, buy some water. Don't wait till you get home, because it really is something so, so simple that if you don't do it, you can cause irreparable harm to your body. If you don't really like to drink water, one of the things I do to trick myself to drink more water is I will throw a tea bag in with it, and that will flavor it without adding any sugar. There are sports drinks out there that you can take. And also, my new favorite thing is, now that I'm trying to eat more whole foods, is eating more water-rich vegetables and fruits. So I'm eating more watermelon and melon and cantaloupe and strawberries and more salad, so I can actually get hydration in while I'm eating as well. So it's not just drinking, 8 glasses of boring, plain, dry water. Health issue number 4, their sleep patterns got reversed and they started sleeping all day and watching TV all night. And what we didn't understand at the time was that this whole sleep reversal really was a byproduct of the medical conditions that they hadn't been diagnosed for. Because what they told us was, well, we like to stay up all night and watch the late night shows because they're more entertaining than daytime TV. And yeah, we bought it. And then we started, trying to convince them, well, new technology is out, and, we can get you a DVR, we can set it so that you can have your shows to watch during the day and sleep at night. Nope, they poo-pooed that. And the reason why they poo-pooed that was because technology was not their friend. We didn't realize then that they had these conditions, so learning new things, not in their wheelhouse. So they kept pushing us off. What we also discovered during that time was they needed a new bed. And their bed had been in that house since basically they moved in it. My father-in-law knew they needed a new bed. My mother-in-law knew they needed a new bed, but they didn't want to get one because they don't make them like this anymore. Of course they don't. Who makes lumpy flat mattresses? Nobody. But they couldn't pull the trigger. So we decided, well, you know what? We'll buy ourselves a new bed and we'll give them our old bed, which was only a couple of years old. And so it was a sleep number. And that way, depending on whoever is sleeping hard or soft, they don't have to make the decision on the bed. The bed will be perfect for everybody. So we drop off this bed, we show them how to use it, we show them how to find their sleep numbers, we show them how to use the remote. And within a week, my father-in-law, he was extolling the virtues of the sleep number bed and how it was the best sleep he's gotten in years. And then that quickly faded. All of a sudden, the Sleep Number bed was like sleeping on rocks and we couldn't figure out why. So Michael went over to go check it out. There was no air in the mattress. They had completely forgotten that it's not a traditional mattress, that you keep fluffing it up and you can keep adding air. So it got completely flat. The issues with the memory loss and the cognitive decline and not being able to think logically anymore, Michael had to start going over periodically to make sure the bed stayed the way that it was supposed to stay. Add on to that, not only there were bed issues, but there's lighting issues. My mother-in-law is very window dressing averse because curtains and blinds just gather dust and you just have to clean them. So imagine a bedroom with a wall of windows. There is nothing up there to block out the sun, and you're trying to sleep all day with sun shining in on you, but you're up all night in the dark. And so that also contributed to the fact that they couldn't even get decent sleep during the day. Can't get any good sleep at night because you're up all night. Can't get any sleep during the day. Oh, and I have appointments. I have places I have to be. Well, you can't make appointments after midnight. You gotta do those during the day. So you're running around on zero sleep and you're walking around and you're tripping and falling because your equilibrium is off, your balance is off, your sense of judgment and timing is off. So you're setting yourself up for failure when you don't get a good 7 to 9 hours of sleep, restful sleep, good sleep, dark environment, turn off the TV, get rid of the blue light. If you need some kind of noise to help you sleep, get you some soft noise playing, but make sure that your sleeping environment is inviting and that you can get the sleep that you need. Issue number 5, they weren't taking their medications correctly. It's not just older people with some type of dementia, it's all of us. We go when we pick up our prescriptions and the pharmacist is telling us all the things that we need to do, all the interactions it could have, all the adverse effects it could have. And oh, by the way, don't forget you need to take the entire thing as directed. And a lot of times we will poo-poo that and do our own thing. But when there is a note that says, must take with water, don't take with coffee, take with food, don't take with food, we have to follow that to the nth degree. Because what happened was, as my in-laws started to get older and their conditions started to settle in, they just took things the way they wanted to take things because their mind was shifting. Can't eat the good food because I can't fix it. So I'm going to take this high-powered antibiotic with a half a cookie. I don't want to go to the bathroom because it's hard for me to get off my furniture and hard for me to get off of the toilet. So I'm not going to drink water, but I will take this high-powered diuretic with a sip of coffee. And so when we do that, we are completely messing up our body's equilibrium. And that's exactly what was happening with Phil. He was taking all of his medications on a sip of coffee or a sip of water and then not eating or drinking for the rest of the day. And he would tell Michael how he was feeling dizzy or nauseous, and it had to be the pills. And we had to go and talk to the doctor and get the doctor to change the dosages because that's what it is. Completely negating the fact that he wasn't eating properly and he wasn't drinking properly. So there was no way he was actually taking his medication as directed. So once we can infiltrate it and we can make sure that they're eating correctly, then all of that dizziness and nausea, it went away because it really wasn't the pill, so to speak. It was the way the pill was being taken. So you want to make sure you're taking your medication exactly as prescribed. If you find that you are following the directions to the T and it's still bothering you, that's when you let the doctors know that something is wrong and something needs to be adjusted. But you can't take your medication on a sip of coffee, don't eat or drink anything for the rest of the day, and then you're going to be fine. So make sure you're doing it the right way. If you have any tips or personal stories about common sense things that you can do to help reduce your fall risk, please drop them in the comments below and share so other people can learn from what we've gone through and maybe hopefully prevent this from happening to them in the future. Because falls don't just happen because we get older. Most of the time, they can be prevented by just drinking water, eating right, taking our medications as they are prescribed. Once we understand just how much health and taking care of our health, simple little things to take care of our health, that's when we can really take charge and age on our terms. If you made it this far with me, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.